Hey, everything goes. Let's go. Feel me? Everything goes when the homies hate your personal taste. Shakur over tank type of take, it be hurting you to rank. Heated debates about who's better between the birds and the saints. But post games of which Biggs is really worse in the paint. And John, Ian, and Dan on the pod, future icons. Ian screaming go birds and Dan trying to fight John. A Rockets fan with the Saints from Philly with a python. Cross me and the boy step over him like he Tyron. Eagle season end with a bowl and nobody sober. Let the Saints be the chance and Dan on bourbon and Nola. Everything goes. Place your bets with us, take the over. Philly niggas wanna see how Ray that we gon' make October. At game time is game time. Need your picks, you can clutch it. Gave my ticket to John, brought me back with a bucket. CP3 on the assistant Kawhi be getting his touches, but I'm watching Bron cooking my ticket and I'm like fuck it, let Ian tell it. He gon' say that Bron is the GOAT, coming back from 3-1 and barely had him a coach. MJ don't got these records, so we laughing the most, and I watched it with my own eyes, so now I'm back in the host. I get my lines from Dan and lock it in on fantasy picks. Number one in every league, they can't stand me with this. I'm fleecing the league with every trade, I dismantle it quick. Wave a wire, watching the pod to help me handle the shit. Legendary status, keep watching, we gon' reach that, but reach too far, my rocket shooting, and I gotta teach that. Fill the gap with a hit stick. Think I don't see that Hall of Fame vision switching from B-Dog to the T-Man. On your wrist, John Dane time and everything froze. Errol Spence washed up Dan and everyone knows. You can't see, I see 3 when comparing to those. Cause every podcast can't handle when everything goes. Back. Everything goes. Today I'm in the studio with my man John.
Y'all see the intro on the joint, bro?
Got my man E in the studio.
In this joint, yo. My man Craig and Quad in this joint too. Shout out to the intro, yo.
Great intro. First and foremost, we just want to thank everybody that's tapped in and everybody that will tap in. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Your support is much appreciated. But before we jump into the topics and our games for today, you know we got some breaking news for you guys. Breaking news starting in the NBA world. You mean Yoda got thrown up for y'all. Got some breaking news starting in the NBA world. The Clippers has sent Chris Paul home. On a road trip. First of all, yeah, let's start off. For a road trip, they sent Chris Paul home on a road trip, and then decided to notify him. I think it was 48 hours after the fact, if that they was going to release him and they was going to part ways with him. What's your guys' opinions on that?
I think that it's I think it's super disrespectful, and the Clippers. I think. Because there's so many other terrible franchises in the NBA, and because the Clippers are new, and it's in LA, that they kind of have gotten away with just piss poor decision making. Like honestly, in the past, and how they have treated their players. Like I think when you have point guard and CP, and truthfully, your franchise's best player, I think you can't it's unacceptable to have done him like that. Like he wanted, he was going to the season for this to be his farewell tour, and this is going to be his last season playing basketball. And then on a road trip, y'all sent him home. Like that's not a recipe for success of your franchise, and a bad look for your franchise too. When you're considering, how it looks to other players and how you treat your players, and being a player's franchise. Like we have player coaches, same thing in franchise, and being a player franchise, quote unquote. So it's just egregious and distasteful and terrible on their organization's behalf. So,
gotcha. How you feel about it, Ian? Because I know CP3 your guy.
Yeah, that's my guy, bro. One of my favorite point guards ever. I feel the same way. I feel like it's disrespectful. I view it in a similar light as the Nico move, in Dallas. Like y'all signed the oldest roster in the NBA in the offseason. Nobody told y'all to do that. Y'all knew when y'all signed him in the offseason that he was planning to retire after this season. We watched all the tribute videos and the career recaps and all of that. So you knew that he was planning to get out of here anyway. Y'all 5-16 on the season. At the time, I think he was 5-16 at the time that he got cut. And so he's not detrimental to you winning right now. And the report was that he was being critical of Ty Lue and of the team. Now, what I will say is, contrary to our intro, at least now, I do believe that Ty Lue is a good coach. I think Ty Lue is a player's coach, and I think that he's a good leader. So If Ty Lue had I think they said Ty Lue blocked Chris Paul or he cut off contact with Chris Paul for a 2 or 3 week period. I do think that if he felt that strongly to cut off ties with Chris Paul, who is more of his equal than subordinate in terms of age, I think that Chris Paul might have been, addressing something in the wrong, tone or with the wrong approach. But I think that to cut, a Hall of Famer and like John said, probably your franchise's best player, if not, a top 3 player in that franchise of all time, cutting him mid-season in a season where you'll probably end up with a lottery pick, according to what your record shows right now, is extremely distasteful. And like you said, just how do you do that? How do you come to that conclusion?
How do you do that? And can I add one thing?
Go ahead, John. You good?
Like when Ian said as well, it's the big because we was talking about the group chat, but when Ian just said he was kind of critical of Ty Lue, the coaching, and also basically the culture. It's different when you like 6 years ago, CP, like when you get old and you chips and you come off the bench averaging 2-1-1. It's hard for you to be pull up and be like, yo, y'all drawn. I gotta lock in.
Bro, Udonis Haslem averaged 2 games a season for his last 5 years in the league.
What to do.
And they was still paying him a player's salary. They wasn't paying him the coach. They was paying him like a veteran's minimum, John. And he was on the bench comfortable in his sweat. So I'm not hearing it. Like they on some BS over there in LA, bro.
So, yeah, I'm gonna have to side with. I get you saying the same thing, John, but I'm definitely a little bit more on Ian's side with this. I just think there's no way that y'all should have sent Chris Paul home on a road trip. Like Ian pointed out, the record is what it is. It's not like Chris Paul being there is contributing to y'all losing because he's not playing. He got y'all sitting. He got DMPs when he do play. Y'all giving him 8 to 10 minutes a night. He can't be that much of a locker room cancer. I'm not trying to hear that. And then even if that is the fact, that's CP3. Like Ian just pointed out, that's one of y'all, if not y'all best player of all time, top 3 player in franchise history. If y'all feel as though he's ruining y'all team and y'all want to part ways with him, y'all could have waited till the road trip was over. Y'all did not have to send that man home mid-road trip and then notify him, what was it, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, that his services was no longer needed. That is super crazy to do that to CP3. I don't like it at all. It's no way around it. I don't like it.
Give him an Instagram story. That's how you know he was in his bag.
Like, that's crazy.
I was just notified I'm being sent home. Sad face.
I feel him on that part though. The Clippers, they just show that they don't care about their franchise players. And before we move on real quick, I just want to point this out. It's just funny to me that before Kawhi even dribbled the basketball in the Clippers uniform, they was loyal and still are loyal to him, and he has played less than 50% of his games with them. So I don't understand that. But then they kick CP3 to the curb like he's nothing because he get hurt in the second round of the playoffs. At least he's there.
Bro, your best player came off injury reserve, played one game and said we need more talent.
Like, I'm not trying to do that, bro. You
Chris Paul healthy and they said
you the talent. You supposed to be out there playing. But anyways.
And the crazy part is this isn't the first time that they would have did this to their franchises because like I said, Chris Paul I think is the best and greatest Clipper in their history because they're also a new team. Then after that, I think it would be Blake. At least in my personal opinion. We're not going to get to that, though. They did the same thing to Blake when he was in LA because they signed Blake to a 5-year job because he wanted to retire as a Clipper, and then he got traded to Detroit. Which also part of the reason
give him a statue.
Exactly. Which also part of the reason why he went to Detroit and turned up and became a different nigga. Like he went to Detroit was unrecognizable.
The threes.
So exactly. So it's the same thing with him too. It's not the first time they did this to some of their franchises' better players. But like you just said there, you got Kawhi and I didn't play 50% of the Jones, and he's still on roster and getting all this love. So
you
it's
loyal
like
to the soil, you to Kawhi. You just almost got indicted for Kawhi. Or the
you feel me? Like
you just almost got indicted for being loyal to this bull.
Come on, bro.
It
is money. Yeah. On a tree org. Like what, bro? Man, what's next? What else we got to talk about? Come on, bro.
In the boxing world, we got some more breaking news. Terrence Bud Crawford being stripped of his WBC belt in the 168-pound division. What are you guys' opinions on it? Because technically, Hold on,
Go ahead.
before you go real quick, Ian, yeah, technically with him being stripped of the WBC belt, he's no longer the undisputed champion at 168, but he's still recognized as the guy at 168 because he still have the Ring magazine.
Yeah, I think it's nutty. I think it's a statement move on the side of the WBC. I don't
Mm-hmm.
think he really, cares, like he said, like he know what the real belt is. He earned the right to have the Ring magazine belt at that, at that weight class.
Mm-hmm.
And we all watch what he's done in the like his resume, if not for his entire career, even if you started watching boxing 3 years ago, 4 years ago, like his resume in the last 3 to 4 years is like, bro,
Good stuff.
nobody cares if y'all stripping him of his belt, especially when y'all tell us that it's about some money. He wasn't
Yeah,
on drugs. He didn't cheat. He didn't
yeah,
snoop and get no footage. Like you telling us that he didn't pay you. I still don't understand why I, as a boxer that just won this belt, got to pay you to hold this belt. You telling me it's a more important belt based off who I beat. But that don't even, as an outside fan of boxing, that don't
yeah.
even make sense to me. So I think it's nutty on behalf of, the company and WBC. But I think Bud be all right. He gonna go and get whatever money he want to fight, whether he got the belt on his shoulder or not, and he gonna keep fighting. So fuck him, essentially.
Got you. How you feel about it, John?
So I'm on the side, like same thing with Ian on back. I'm gonna keep it short. Like it's a snooze fest, bro. Like nobody care. Like I shouldn't even his belt. Bro, he just gave BTA to Canelo however long ago that was. We see he had earned the right to those belts. And
Yeah.
like we said, we talked, off camera. It's also we shouldn't even this shouldn't even be an issue because if it's about some money and you win the belt, this should have been set in stone. Like however much money was supposed to have been divvied out to whoever to have whatever belt should have been set in stone anyway. So now it's also that radar being raised. Like, so what's really going on? Because that something's
Mm-hmm.
not making sense. So I mean, it's just, and even like Bud said, it's a trophy. Like we know what's up. We know who the man. We know who undisputed, who really hold them Jones. And if anybody say otherwise because of this little whatever, is kick rocks. Like that don't even matter.
Exactly. Like John, you hit the nail right with the hammer. So everything you just said is 100% correct. The sanctioning fees is still at 3%. So before Crawford even stepped into that ring, he knew once he won the belt, he had to give the WBC 3% of his purse. All right, cool. It is what it is. He's saying that he did that already, and that the WBC is telling him that he need to pay them more than what he's paying the other sanctioning bodies. The WBC came out and said that no, it's actually the other way around. Yes, the sanctioning fee is 3%, but we're only asking Crawford for 0.6%, and he hasn't even paid that. That part I don't believe. He signed the contract. I don't believe that. First of all, boxing history, promotional companies, y'all don't give discounts.
I was about to say that don't even
Yeah,
sound like it makes sense.
let's start there. If it's 3%, that's what it is. Y'all did not tell that. First of all, y'all don't even like Crawford. Let's start there. Y'all don't like Crawford. Crawford, all these years going up through these weight divisions, the only time he has held the WBC belt is in his final match when he gets undisputed. That's never one of the belts he claimed first. He loved to go the WBO route. That's the belt. That's the promotional company. He have connections with the WBO. So one, the WBC, y'all don't like him. He don't like y'all. Y'all did not tell that man instead of giving us 3%, just give us 0.6%. And then he refused to pay that. And then y'all keep talking about he refused to apologize. Apologize about what? Like, that's the part that's throwing me off. Like y'all said, Crawford is the guy. He is the face of boxing. It is what it is. That's not going to affect anything. Moving on to part two of the breaking news. Speaking of the face of boxing, Canelo Alvarez and his team is pushing for the rematch with Terrence Bud Crawford. But Crawford is basically saying, okay, if y'all want me to rematch Canelo Alvarez, I need 100 mil guaranteed. How y'all feel about that?
He earned it. That's how I feel. Simple as that. Let me keep on short. He earned it. Why can't he get 100 mil? He is what's a butt on top of the world right now, bro. Like he can fight whoever he want. He command whatever money he want. And it's also to the point now where depending on who he fight, like Bud would be the favorite, and he probably would give out BTA. Like so, it really no matter who it is, like he has earned the right to command whatever amount of money that he wants. And it's not an issue of if y'all can pay him or not, because it's billions and upon billions of dollars being circulated within this community. It's just about if you want to respect who he is and his stature as a all time great and as a boxer to pay him that money. So And he don't have to fight. He doesn't have to fight. Bud could retire tomorrow and he would be top 5 greatest boxers to ever box. And he don't care. He just do it for the love of the game. So if he don't get that money, he don't have to fight. Y'all need Bud. He don't need y'all at this point. He cool.
Exactly. How you feel about it, A?
Nah, I definitely agree with what he said. Like he don't need to fight no more. He don't really got nothing else to prove. Again, his resume in the last 2 to 3 years alone speak for itself. I come from a place where I don't understand fully the salary and like what the pot of money is that they can draw from. So I don't know if this is him like on a Clarissa Shields, Layla Ali type tip, like trying to call they bluff. Like I know y'all not gonna pay me this 100 mil, so that's what I'm gonna ask for. Or if he just like, yo, like we gonna get this fight, but before y'all try to give me the short end of the stick, I'm that. You mean if y'all didn't know before, I'm that nigga now for sure. So pay me what I asked for. I think that it's a fight that, the boxing world want to see. I think Canelo for sure want to fight. And not that I think he took him like lightly the first time, but I definitely think that he'll put another level of, intentionality and, or intention into his training. And I think that we'll see not necessarily a different result, but I definitely think we'll see a different fight the second time. So I'm interested in seeing it. But I think that Bud got a right to feel how he feel. And like he said, if he asking for 100 mil, if y'all got it, Turk, make it happen.
Got you. So I just want to, before I give my statement, I just want to kind of respond to something you said, Ian. So essentially, with Bud asking for 100 mil, so it's only like specific people that will have the money to pay him. One being Turkey, like you just pointed out, and so he's not asking for too much, in my opinion, because it was only one person in the sport of boxing that was making that kind of money, and that was Canelo Alvarez. Okay, I just beat him. So now I'm in that seat. Now y'all need to pay me the money that y'all was paying Canelo. I don't want to hear I'm not as marketable as him. I don't have the big fan base like him. Y'all gave him 100 mil to fight me when he was the A side. Okay, I just beat him. Y'all want me to rematch him? No, I'm the A side. Give me 100 mil. That's all he asking for essentially. So I don't think.
But didn't they say? Didn't they say Bud got paid 10 million to fight the first time?
So he got, I think the minimum was 10 to 15, but he made like more than that through endorsements and other stuff. But that was his
But the
minimum.
promotion paid him 10 million and they paid Canelo 100.
Up to 100, yes.
Oh yeah, pay my man, yo. Pay my man, yo. Fuck out of here. That's crazy.
So, yeah, basically just saying, just give me the money that y'all was gonna give Canelo Alvarez. And the crazy part is, this not the first time we heard a number like this. Canelo Alvarez just did this. I want to say last year, no, right before the Bud fight was signed. He said, "Y'all want me to fight David Benavidez? Give me 150 mil." I swear.
He don't want to fight.
Yeah, obviously
he don't want to fight the Mexican monster.
He didn't make it happen, but that's what he said. So
yeah. nigga want a quarter bill to fight, yo. Damn it.
So yeah. So talking about the rematch just in general, I do think Ian mentioned a good point. I don't want to say Canelo took Bud lightly the first fight, but I do think Canelo went into the first fight with a false sense of security.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
maybe he didn't put that extra pep in his step, or maybe he didn't run that extra mile or box that extra round of sparring that he should have. And so, like Ian pointed out, going into the second fight, he definitely will, because he's going into the fight looking at Crawford. Okay, he's not no small guy. He was able to carry and hold this weight. He's my size and slightly more skilled than me. So now I got to do what I got to do. You get what I'm saying? But not like Ian pointed out, I don't think it'll be a different result. I do think Crawford will win the fight, but it might be slightly closer than the first fight. But that's just something we'll have to wait if they decide to give us the rematch. I don't really care either way. I do think Crawford beat him the first time convincingly, so I wouldn't be upset with not seeing a rematch. But regardless, it is what it is.
True.
Yeah, so moving on to our game of today, catcher pass. The first statement for catcher pass, we got some football for you guys. The Patriots will be back in the AFC Championship game this season. Go ahead, Ian. I'm gonna let you go first, Ian, because you look like you got a lot of.
I'm not hearing it, bro. I'm not hearing it, bro. I think they got a good young crew over there. They got a number one corner that's there to stay. They got a QB1 that's there to stay. Then
Hmm.
they got a running back that's solid. Stephon is building chemistry with Drake, and Drake, when Stephon was out, he's building chemistry with, the young boy Boot, and like he making some moves, some strides for the future. I think that the Patriots will be, like you mentioned before, off camera, back to their winning ways for years to come. But this year, I don't see a bowl game. I'd be surprised if they get out the second round. I don't know if y'all seen that pass that I posted about the them playing lottery teams, or
Hmm.
not lottery teams, but the teams in the top five draft order. Like, not to say that it's hard. It's not easy to win in the NFL. Like, a win is still a win. You get what I'm saying? And that's not taking anything away from them, but the people that you beat and not beating nobody. You mean, like, how much still can we put in that? So I'm definitely passing that they getting to a conference chip game this year.
I'm a
Got you.
I'm gonna catch this joint, and I think it's because not to say I'm a Drake fanatic, but just like the beginning of before the season started, I did say that Drake would have a rocking season, and he is. And I feel like the way their team, the, their balance on offense is enough to get them to a chip game, and their defense is also good enough. And then to kind of respond, I do before I even say this, I do agree with Ian that their schedule has been a little Mickey, but I also can say like they have beaten teams that we can say are solid wins. Like they beat the Bucks, they beat the Bucks, the Bills, and if we want to put stock in them beating the Panthers, considering the Panthers just beat the Rams.
Hmm.
I don't know how
No,
we
but
all
they beat the Panthers at the beginning of the season though, when, like, before
it
they was
was
out of the slump and all of that. You feel me? Like,
before who was out of the slump.
the Panthers, they was
Oh,
one and
Bryce
three, I think, or something like that. Yeah, like
Okay.
Bryce Young's job was still in jeopardy.
True. Okay.
Young.
Fair,
You
fair
you
enough.
gonna
Fair
keep
enough.
throwing
Fair
that
enough.
out there about Bryce? You got to cool off Bryce.
Fair enough. That's why I said, based on the stock we put into that. But although their schedule like is a little Mickey, they do have some teams on there that you could say, okay, solid. And just like what we talk, I don't know if we talked about last week, but handling business. Or Josh, we were talking about Josh a couple weeks ago, and him losing to teams he has no business losing to. Like,
Hmm.
granted, we can say that their schedule is Mickey, and they winning against teams that haven't really beat nobody. But I feel like every year we also had this conversation about certain teams where they're supposed to be in a certain place or a certain stature, but they're dropping games that they shouldn't be losing. Like, I think some credit has to go towards them currently being 11-2 and handling their business the entirety of the season. And then when you also consider the landscape of the AFC right now, like I think it's why not? Like you consider, what they've put out there, how solid their offense is between Drake playing excellent football and then also them being able to run the ball with Ramondre and Travion and their solid defense. Why not? Like there's nobody else in the AFC that you can really point to and be like, yeah, they giving out the belt. Like Josh right now is in the seventh seed himself, and then you have the Colts and the Chargers down there. Any of those teams, with them being a lower seed, if they walk out the first round and this playoff started today, New England has the bye. I don't know who I would pick, but I could easily see them beating any of those teams. Do you consider the division leaders like Baltimore's winning the division right now? They're 6-6. Then you got Jacksonville. Believe in Jacksonville at all? Who really was in Jacksonville? So I'm gonna catch this joint. I can see them in the AFC chip game, especially considering there's no demon out there in the AFC. You can go to anybody. So
Got you. So, John, this was easy for me. Me and you, we lockstep in this shit. I also catch this, and I'm catching it for similar reasons as you. As I look at the AFC landscape, the teams that's out there that's currently in the playoff race, you got the Bills. Can they beat the Bills? I think they can, yes. You got the Jags. Can they beat the Jags? I think they can, yes. You got the
they did
Chargers.
it already.
Chargers. No, I'm talking about in the playoff format. These are teams that's in the playoff right now. Can they beat the Chargers in the playoffs? Yes. Got the Steelers. Okay. Can they beat the Steelers in the playoffs? Yes. The only two teams that I think that'll be a tough matchup for them is the Ravens, just because that defense has improved and the defensive scheme that they run might give Drake trouble, but we'll just have to see. And then the Broncos, just because of that defense overall, and to the way Sean Payton run that offense. But the two teams I just named both got quarterbacks that got to prove themselves in the postseason still. As much as we want to love Lamar, what? As much as we want to love
Who,
Lamar
Lamar?
Drake don't
Jackson,
got to do the
Lamar,
same shit though.
yes.
Oh,
All
So,
right
yeah.
like the
then.
He
chances,
talking about his
hold
opponents.
on, hold on. Yeah, let me finish my point. So, one, it's only two teams that I just pointed out right now that I feel as though that can challenge the Patriots. You got the Broncos and you got the Ravens. They're not going to see Denver in the second round because let me get this out the way. The Patriots are going to be the 1 seed. Denver are going to be the 2 seed. They're not going to see Denver in the second round. They're going to have a first round bye because they're going to be the 1 seed. They're going to have one game at home to get back to the AFC Championship game. In that game, they could play a possibility of either the Ravens, either the Chargers, the Jags, or possibly who is the other team, or possibly the Steelers or the Bills. Yeah. Do I like their chances to beat them, any one of them teams at home? Yes.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
So that's why I think they can make it to the AFC Championship game. Now, if they got to see Bo Nix and that Denver defense, can they beat them? I don't know. That's going to be a great game. But I definitely see them going to the AFC Championship game. Who you got walking in Foxborough in the middle of the winter beating that team right now, Ian?
Who? But who did they beat that we like? Again, like you said, like a win is a win. But who have we seen them beat convincingly that we like? Nobody's going to Foxborough and beating the Patriots, bro. They lost to the Raiders. Granted, it was week 1.
That was week 1, but they lost to the Raiders, and then since then they've been giving out BTA. They beat Buffalo, and that was the start to Buffalo downfall. That was before they done lost to Tua and let Tua throw 300 yards, whatever it was. That was the start of Buffalo downfall, and they also beat Baker Mayfield at the height of the Bucks, and then since that game, that's been the start of the Bucks downfall. So they causing downfalls.
causing downfalls.
I mean, I hear you, but I think my process of thinking is that every team that y'all just mentioned that's in the playoffs, the same way that they can beat those teams, I think those teams have I think all of these games will be pick'ems for real, except for the Jags. I'm never putting stock in Trevor Burrows, but everybody else, I think it's like depending on the day. And then even if you're looking at these teams, like tell me who outside of Drake May on this Patriots team is an X factor. And like you said, we haven't seen Drake May in the playoffs yet, so we can't even bank on him going into the playoffs and showing us that he's, you know what I mean? Like, okay, we could put stock and hope that this is a coming out season, like John said at the beginning of the year, but we don't know that he's about to go into the playoffs and keep this MVP level of play up. So I'm not hearing it.
I mean, my only pushback on that would be in recent years, we just seen CJ do it 2 seasons ago. He went into the playoffs, kept that level of play up, and then we just seen JD do it last year. He went into the playoffs, kept that level of play up with his team. So it's not impossible. We just seen 2 rookie quarterbacks do it.
It's not, but we also seen Trevor Bortles and Jay Herbert go into the playoffs for their first however many games and not do nothing. And Trevor Lawrence got his playoff win because he just so happened to be matched up with Herbert. But like he still threw 4 first half picks. Like that's not a good outing, no matter how you slice it. They just figured out a way to win.
Like I'm not mad at you for passing on it, but I'm definitely catching it. I don't see a reason.
That's what I'm saying. I feel the same way on the opposite side of things. I'm not mad at y'all for catching it, but you like which one of those teams going in Foxborough? Like, come on, bro. Like, I would say that if we was talking about the Broncos, I think that defense is stout enough that if you got to go to Denver and you got to breathe Denver oxygen too, you should be worried about going to Denver. I'm not worried about going to Foxborough. Like, you just got to beat the Patriots, but I'm not.
Mike Vrabel is a hell of a coach. Mike Vrabel is a hell of a coach. Mike Vrabel. Yeah, Ryan Tannehill as the 1 seed. Yes, he had 2K. Derrick Henry. Ryan Tannehill was quarterback. Mike Vrabel packed Tom Brady up. Mike Vrabel got Tom Brady out the AFC.
That did though.
Mike Vrabel is a hell of a coach. So yes, Drake May got that rookie experience and he don't have any playoff experience. But Mike Vrabel as a player and a coach, he's a Super Bowl winning player. We got to keep that in mind. He played in Super Bowls for the Patriots as a player, and then he's a great head coach on top of that. He was an important piece to winning Super Bowls as a player and an important piece to winning football games as a coach. So
I mean, I think it's definitely worth putting stock in it. I think he's gonna have them ready to play. But I think also me and you was on the same type tip with.
Wait, hold. You said just real quick before you go. You said who else they got over there? We can't act like Diggs ain't have a resurgent these last couple games. Yes, he was quiet the last 2 because they decided to go to Hunter Henry. Hunter Henry is not a bad tight end. They do got Hunter Henry at the tight end position, and they still got Stephon Diggs, who I'm sure is going to step it up in the postseason.
And behind them,
the boy that John, I can't think of his name right now, but he
gets up too. Yeah, Boot. How I feel behind Diggs, when the Packers put BTA on the Cowboys 2-3 years ago in the playoffs, after Diggs is also very similar to how this young receiving core is too. Because you consider you got like you say you got Boot, you got Kyle Williams, and you have Demario Douglas. And these aren't household names, obviously, but them being able to ball, that's why I compared it to how the Packers was when they beat the Cowboys 2 years ago with oh my god, Romeo Dobbs,
Christian
Dontavian Wick,
Watson, Tucker
Christian
Craft.
Watson, Tucker
Mhm.
Craft. 3 years ago, some of them would have been rookies. And that's the
Yeah.
same thing with this wide receiving core here. Why I feel strongly about them going back to the AC championship game too, because they're all young and they're ready and they're hungry. So
And then you look at the running back position. They got the running back in Ramondre Stevenson that can run between the tackles. And then they also got
No,
Hendrick that can give them the explosive plays when they need. That was crazy too, John.
bro, he stink, bro.
like
Like
I said, I think they're gonna be ready to play, bro. What I was saying before that, me and you was on the same page last year in terms of thinking that Jim Harbaugh was going to keep Herbo out of the dirt when it came to playoff times, and he still figured out a way to disappoint us. So, not saying that Drake is about to just fall victim to a playoff meltdown, but you
But
never
we'll
know.
just have to wait and see. I get what you're
Yeah,
saying. So yeah, moving on to the next statement, a catcher pass. I've been waiting all week for this one. And disclaimer, I just want to put this out there. We already had this pick before the game that happened last night. So yeah, LeBron James is washed. I'm gonna go, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna start with you, Ian.
you gonna start with me back to back, John? Solid. I'm passing. Hell no. No, he been 50 for the last 5 years. I don't think that he forgot how to play basketball. There's been a couple street games where it's been a couple street games or stacked games where his approach has been different. And a lot of people were saying before he came back to start the season that the Lakers don't need him no more. And then they got cooked by I think the Hawks or somebody like that without a starter. And I was like, yeah, no, Bron come back. Bron came back for this game. He was, passive or passing the pill a lot. Then like 2 games later, he had 25, 6 and 6. They won a game last week where he had like 13 on like 4 of 10 shooting, and then yesterday he shot terribly and had 8 points on 4 of 17. But he also had 11 assists, and they won a game without Luka playing. So at the same time that you can look at his shooting and say, "Oh my God, the streak is broken," and like what is happening right now, I think that his basketball, when he's on the court, it still translates to winning basketball. And I mean, like I said, he just old as hell, and I don't know if his health is, because what they talking about right now ain't something that his recovery or his millions of dollars can prevent. This is just age. So I don't know if that will have an effect on, his not longevity, but like his ability to stay on the court. But is he washed? No, I'm not hearing that.
yo,
Go ahead, John. Go ahead.
bro, I ain't gonna lie. Bro, hearing Ian answer almost make me want to change my answer because I feel bad. That nigga sounds sad as hell talking about Brian. But I'm going, bro, I don't. So, that nigga washed, bro. You tripping.
Sounds sad is crazy.
No, listen, though. I think, I'm going to say he washed. I'm catching the train. I think he washed because the standard that he just set is so crazy. Like, granted, Bron is about to be 41, right? He's already 40. Is he about to be 41 or 42 this month?
I think he's gonna be 42.
Okay. So he been old for a couple seasons. But if you consider, like Ian said, I can say like him being on the court does translate to winning basketball. But when you like somebody being washed is how they look in comparison to themselves. Like, bro, we see Bron, obviously, and that's why, at least for me, why I think to ever touch a basketball, it's LeBron James. Like, he can impact the game in other ways besides being dominant like he once was. Like yesterday, a streak ended because he made a very LeBron James play. Instead of throwing some BS at the rim, he saw Rui in the corner, got in his pocket, he shot the ball, they won the game. But if you consider right now that he's like, it is not everything, but he's shooting terribly from the field and averaging 14, 4, and 8 assists. Like, you compare that to the Bron that we've seen before and his ability to every once in a while muster up the ability to dominate and take over a game. And granted, he doesn't really have to do that because of who's on his team. Me watching their games and seeing what he's doing on the court, I don't even think if he wanted to, he would be able to. Like truthfully, I just don't think he would be able to, because it's just like he's really old. Like Father Time is catching up to him. Like he's able to impact the game in other ways, but in comparison to himself and being washed, absolutely.
Gotcha. So, John, this was it hurts me to say it because I do love Bron, but this was easy for me. I also got to catch this train as well. Like John pointed out, Bron right now he averaging 14, 4, and 8. He's playing a career low 32 minutes a game. And then even like looking back at it, even going back to his rookie year, he still never played that many less minutes. Like the lowest he ever played that was under 34, 35 was back in 2020, and he got hurt that year. Only played 42 games. So right now he had a career low 32 minutes. He's shooting a career low from the floor at 41%. Now, 41%, it may not be that bad for a guard, but Bron, yes, he played point forward, but LeBron is not a guard. His field goal percentage is always around 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52. 41% for LeBron is extremely low. And then obviously we know he already been declining on the defensive end, but just look at the defensive numbers. It's all career lows. This is the first time in his career he's not even averaging a steal per game. He's not averaging a steal per game. The blocks is at .2. He's not getting up off the floor no more. Bron played in 7 games. He only got 2 games where he scored over 20. The one game with 20 and then the one game 24 or 25. He just, and like John just pointed out, if he wanted to go out there and take over the game and drop 12, 15 straight points, he can't, even if he wanted to. That's just what I'm seeing from Bron in these first 7 games. I don't think Bron is about to drastically turn it around. And then for me, like John pointed out, washed is comparing you to yourself, not other numbers that guys are putting up around the league. LeBron putting up 14, 4, and 8, shooting 41% from the floor with literally no defensive stats. That's washed.
And then
I
even
mean,
you consider my bad, go ahead.
I mean, because I was about to say the most important thing about what you said was John didn't mention again. ESPN say he played 6 games this year, not
6. Okay.
So my man played 6 games. In those 6 games, again, I'm not putting stock because it's only 6 games, but in those 6 games that he's played, they're 5-1. That's first of all. If you look at okay, yesterday Luka didn't play and Bron had 8 points on 4 of 17. AR had 44. Like 2 games ago or 3 games ago when he had, I think, 13 points, AR had 34 and Luka had 35 or 30. Like, it's 70 points between two. And not to say that Bron can't be the third guy that's giving you 20 points, to add on to that 70, but it's 6 games, bro. Like, if we having this conversation, like last season, the conversation about Bron being washed was never a thought. And we've been talking about for the last 3 to 4 years, keep it a bean, that Bron has been waiting for AD or somebody to come in and take over and give him the space to take his foot off the gas during the regular season so that he can be productive come playoff time. With this current team, as long as nothing goes left or nobody dies, they should be able to secure a 4 or 5 seed to get into the playoffs. There's no way that I'm like, yes, he's not, obviously he's not prime Bron no more, but when Harden was on the Sixers deferring to Joel, nobody called him washed. I was grinding him up because he was not shooting the ball no more. You kept telling me he's not Harden of Houston no more, but we see right now that was a conscious decision that he made to play basketball a different way, to defer to guys around him, not that he couldn't score the basketball no more. Do I think that Bron could go dominate? Do I think he could go dominate and get to the rim at will, play after play after play after play? Absolutely not. But I think he's still smarter than 98% of people that he's going to step on the court with, and there's no way that he, like, not to say like that, because plateaus do happen. People do just, plateau and fall off a cliff.
Mhm.
I don't think that's going to happen, though. I don't think that's what the trajectory is. I just think he had 6 games and he's old and been dealing with whatever health issues since, like, he started the season hurt coming. You mean like he started the season not on the roster, on the IR, on the injury report, and now we back into playing, and it's his health. He's not all the way healthy, but I don't think he's washed, and I think that we'll see that as the season continues. But ain't nobody fucking said though. I'm just saying when a nigga retired, you tripping? Y'all talking about 32 minutes. He 50, bro. I mean,
I got a little bit of pushback on what you said before we move on. The first thing about what you saying, Bron contributing to winning, you said they 5-1 in the games that Bron played Okay, that's fine. That's cute. But they was playing winning basketball before Bron came back. You look at their record; they was 11-4 before Bron came back, and they was a 3 seed. Since Bron came back, they 16-5, and they the 2 seed. So it's not like they wasn't staying afloat without Bron. So
Right.
yeah, so I don't want to. We're not gonna act like all 5 of them wins was because LeBron James was on the basketball floor.
That's not what I'm saying, but I'm saying we talking about
Not-
him scoring 10, 11 points like oh shit, Brian washed and now the Lakers suck. They still winning games. Like he just not
no,
getting this
we didn't say the Lakers suck. We simply saying that Bron is washed, bro. That's it. That's it. That's all.
and I would agree too, low key, if it wasn't apparent, like based on how it looks. Like granted, yes, like he's not putting the ball in the rim at the elite level that he once did, but you consider like yesterday he took 17 shots, he made 4. The game before that, when we was having this conversation, he lost to Phoenix. He went out there, he took 10 shots, he made 3. And then last week, these are all wins, but he took 18 shots and he made 8. So it's not even like he's just, I guess, passive or just chilling. Like I think based on how it looks, if him trying to muster up the ability, I guess, to go out there and make that kind of impact, and it doesn't translate. And I also, I don't put the same kind of stock into his ability to distribute the ball as I guess other people do, because his entire career he's been a top 3, they were 2 facilitators and action creators in the league. So like if just like Steph, if Steph is ever not able to go out there and drop 40 and 50 and go nuclear, you put Steph in the corner on a wing and create an action for him, he's gonna make a jump shot. Like that's never going to end. And the same thing with Bron and his ability to play me. So that's why I think it's more so optics for me on how I feel about him being washed. Because then even if you look at, and then also a part of too is injury. Like, granted, you can't really control that, but that also goes into a part like you just said. He came into the season on IR, and now he's supposed to miss the game against Boston because he has some kind of super crazy, like arthritis, John. Like, bro, you feel the league arthritis, nigga. Like you old. So that just adds to it too, at least for me. And then last season, even if you don't even want to consider Prime Bron, granted, majority of last season, Luka wasn't there. But how he finished the year, and even like if you just go from a pure number standpoint, typical Bron. He did 25, 8 and 8 or something like that. And even when Luka got there, AR still on the team, obviously. Luka gets there, and those numbers don't particularly fall off. Now, granted, that I don't remember what the Lakers' record was last year. Like, they didn't make no noise as far as championship aspirations, but it just looks completely different night and day. And I think because multiple factors contribute to that. Not his fault. It gets to a point everybody get washed. Like it's not just limited to Bron. Like at some point in time, you have to look like if you're a great player, a very different form of yourself. So that's all.
Gotcha. So we're gonna go ahead and move on to the next statement. A catcher pass going back over going back over to the NFL. The Bears are a legit 1 seed if the playoffs started tomorrow.
No, hell no.
So you
passing this joint. I'm super passing this joint. And I said we should have had the meme ready, dog. It was the Office meme where it was like the Bears being the number 1 pick, shaking the cuz hand by default. Like the Bears are, and I don't really want to take nothing that much away from the Bears because it. I think Ian said it earlier. It is hard to win football games, but kind of how we were just talking about with New England.
Don't beat nobody.
Yes, like how we were just talking about the Patriots not beating nobody. It's almost the same thing for the Bears. Like if you want to note wins that the Bears have this season, even when I went back and looked at it, the only notable win they have is against us. And some people I maybe not feel like that we
That's the Cowboys and the Steelers, if you want to count that.
Hell no. Why we count
the Steelers was Mason Rudolph though.
All right, why we count the Steelers? And then the Cowboys based on how you feel about the Cowboys. But nonetheless, like us, because we're the defending NFL Super Bowl champions. Outside of that, they've beaten the Ravens. They got they beat the Ravens, they beat the Raiders, they beat the Commanders, they beat the Saints, they beat the Vikings twice, and they got blew out early in the season by the Lions. And it's also I think Rams aren't technically the number 1 seed, although they have the same amount of wins. They have the same amount of wins as the Bears. They're the true number 1 seed, in my opinion. It's just how it plays out with conference record and all that fun stuff. But them on the other hand, granted, they just took a bad L to the Panthers. But Panthers, based on how you feel about them right now at this point in the season, they have notable W's on their schedule. They have beaten the Bucks, the Rams, they beat the Niners. How much stock you want to put in that? They beat the Jags, and they have notable wins. They look like a number
They
one
beat
seed.
the brakes off the Jags.
They beat the brakes off the Jags, and the Jags currently are. They just became the division leaders. They 8-4. So hell no, passing that, John. The Bears is not a legitimate number one seed. Even if they finish the season today as number one seed, after their bye, they would likely get smacked by anybody that's sitting right there that would be winning. Because right now it's Green Bay, Seattle, and San Francisco, and possibly Detroit is the 8 seed. They get out the first round, they smacking the shit out the Bears. I'm sorry.
Go ahead,
So for me, this is easy. I'm passing on this. Although I was high on the Bears to start the season, and I did say like don't be shocked if they win that division just because I thought Detroit would fall back a little bit. I don't think they can beat any of the top teams in the NFC. They're not beating the Rams. They're not beating the Seahawks. The 49ers, it don't matter who's at quarterback. They're not beating the 49ers. And believe it or not, yes, they just beat y'all on Thanksgiving. I don't even think they can beat y'all come postseason. So, no, they're not a legit one seed. They definitely made some improvements this year, but they need to look forward to trying to next year because they're not competing this
That's
year.
the big, yo.
Yo, look forward to next season and you 9-3 is fucking.
Yeah.
That's the big, yo. I ain't gonna lie.
But no, I'll facts. Like I'm not hearing it. I'm passing. Not only are they not, first of all, I think like John said, I think the Rams are the best team in the NFL. He said they did legit one seed in NFC. I think they're the best team in the NFL. Beyond that, I don't think you said you like it's a lot of people you beating. I don't think the Bears can beat anybody at NFC come playoffs except for the Bucks. And that's only because Mike Evans. If Mike Evans is out there, I don't like them beating the Bucks either. I'll go a step further to say not only are they not a legit one seed, I don't think they're a legit division winner right now. I think that no kizzy, bro. No kizzy, bro. I'm just not having it. The Packers, they won draw game. The Lions is we gonna talk about the Lions later, but they're there because of the coaching, not because of talent or because of what's on the roster. Right? I just don't see it. They're not a legit division leader. If they saw anybody from the division come playoffs, I think they would lose to them too. So
And they play the Packers on Sunday, so we'll really see. And they have to play the
I
Packers
don't
twice.
care what happens Sunday. They not beating nobody from the division come playoffs time.
Got you. So we all passed on this joint. Everybody was in agreement. You mean? Gotta get a round of applause. Everybody was in agreement. So yeah, moving on to our first topic of today, sticking with the NFL. So who's having the more disappointing season between the Chiefs and the Lions? One team from the AFC, one team from the NFC. We can start with my man Ian. Who has the most disappointing season in a while?
1000% the Detroit Lions. Like I just said, because I think that the Detroit Lions are in a position that they are in, partially because of they can't control the talent in the division outside of them. But I think that some of the games that they have lost are because of coaching and because of this. Again, we talked about this. I don't know if this was off camera or last week's episode, but they're in a similar position as we were 2 years ago when Nick Sirianni was just too stubborn to make logical football decisions and be able to say, okay, cool, right now we got to take these points, or because of field position, we should punt the ball or whatever. Dan Campbell plays football with his heart, and as much as a competitor as I am, and I love it, sometimes you got to use your mind, and I think that him being stubborn has lost them 2 or 3 games, and that's the difference between being a 7 seed right now or a 3 or 4 seed because you're winning your division. So I think that the Chiefs right now in the position that they are in, partially because their best receiver was out for 6 games. The second best receiver missed some time. It took about 2 or 3 weeks for Travis and Mahomes to get back. Like, it's just injuries across the board. They don't have a good running back. They signed Kareem Hunt off the waivers, who was jobless. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that the Chiefs are at fault for what's happening right now. They just not like that, but I think that the Lions are more responsible for where they are than the Chiefs right now. And I think that the Lions have more talent on their team as well. So their season right now is more disappointing.
Gotcha.
So
what about you, John?
I'm going 100% the Chiefs, and
Gotcha.
I really don't. I can agree that some of their L's that they have taken can be a part of the coaching's fault. But I
Mhm.
also think, kind of like I said with Bron, they set the standard so high for what they can be that they're 8-5 right now and a game behind the division, and we think that that's just a disappointment. Now, they finished the season last year 15-2. They weren't gonna get remotely close to replicating that season at all. And if they're on the pace that they're on right now, they'll go from 15-2. They're 8-5 right now. They win 12 games. They be 12-5. Now, granted, my opinion, I think 12-5 is a 12 and am I right? Yeah, 12-5.
Yeah, 12-5. Mhm.
Very, very, very good season. And I also believe when you compare it against the Chiefs, like Ian just said, a part of it, beginning of the season, their best receiver wasn't playing. Rashid has been back since October, and currently they're on a 3-game losing streak. They lost to the no, I'm sorry. They're 1-2 in their past 3 games. And they
Mhm.
got they came back and beat the Colts in OT
Which should
and
have been a loss.
should have been a loss, but give them props to winning that game. That's cool, giving props to winning that game. They lost to Dak on Thanksgiving, and then they lost to the Broncos on a field goal. And then before that, they lost to the Bills, which would have been their Super Bowl by a touchdown. So I think, in all those games where she would have been back, I think this season, considering they're 500 and they're on the verge of missing the playoffs which will be the first time in Mahomes' era, like that has to be more disappointing in a team that's 8-5 right now that is in playoff contention, and especially considering like on top of that, granted he was missing his number one receiver, but it's also like Mahomes does not look the same how he did previously, and even the games that since Rasheed has been back, it just don't look the same. So I think if you let's say we send this season, and let's say Detroit, because this is could also be a possibility. Detroit finishes the season not even 12-5, 10-7, and they miss the playoffs. That's a disappointing season. But then on the inverse, the Chiefs finished 500 and they missed the playoffs. They have a much more disappointing season opposed to the Lions as well. So I'm taking the Chiefs 100%, and I think a main part of that is because of the standard that they set last year and the year before that. Because like I said, it was 15-2 last year. They were never going to replicate that, not even remotely close. It's so hard to do. So I'm going with the Chiefs.
Gotcha. So this was easy for me based on my preseason prediction. I would have to say the Chiefs because I did think the Lions would take a step back this year with them losing their offensive and defensive coordinator. Me
I
and
forgot
Ian,
about that. Ben
yeah,
Johnson, who currently is the number one seed in the NFC. I didn't even
NFC,
mention that.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
The
So me,
not legit number one seed that you just said 2 minutes
Right.
yeah,
ago.
but
Not,
they
not
win a
legit
game.
number one seed, but they do have 9 wins. And
Yeah,
that's
they
because
win
he's the
a game.
coach. Last season, they won like 5 games. So that has to hold
That's
some spot.
definitely because of the offensive coordinator. But yeah, so the Lions' problems is definitely coaching, and then it's also just a lack of execution. Like they're going for it on fourth down because that's what they're used to doing. That's what they have been doing the past 2 years, and the plays that they was calling the past 2 years has been working, and now this season is just not working. It could be the wrong play call. I don't know what I don't know what it is, but at the end of the day, like John pointed out, they're still in playoff contention, but I already thought they would take a step back. So for me, the shocker is really the Chiefs. I'm disappointed in their season, definitely. Looking at their season as a totality, going into the year, you don't expect Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs not to be in the playoffs. Right now, they are currently the 10th seed, and they don't like they have a shot mathematically, but realistically, are they going to make the playoffs? Because of that loss to Dallas, most likely no. So this will be the first year Mahomes will miss the playoffs in his 8-year tenure in the NFL, and the whole 8 years he's been widely considered as the best quarterback in the league. He's 6-6. This is their worst record this far into a season in his era. They are losing to teams that they normally beat on a consistent basis. This year, he's lost to the Jags. He's never lost to the Jags before this season. He's lost to the Cowboys, who a lot of teams don't consider the Cowboys a legit threat. He's lost to Denver and the Chargers. However, you want to feel about Denver and the Chargers going into this season, Patrick Mahomes was 23-3 against both teams combined over 7 years before this year started. He only lost 3 games to them. Already this season, he's 0-2 against both teams, and he got to play. Well, he's 0-2, lost to both of them once, and he got to play them both again before the season ends. And it just don't look good for Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. Definitely disappointed in them. Their offense is at full strength right now, and like John pointed out, it's been that way for at least the past
Like
6,
6 weeks.
7 weeks. Exactly. So we can't use the injury. I mean, the excuse that they was using last year with people not being there. People is here. Everybody's here. Chris Jones is here. Travis Kelce is here. Rasheed Rice, Xavier Worthy, Hollywood Brown. Oh, can y'all imagine what the receiving core gonna look like when Rasheed Rice is healthy and Hollywood Brown is healthy and Xavier Worthy is healthy, and then we don't gotta use Travis as much. He can be a utility. Like, okay, you got all that.
Well,
What's good?
Hollywood is chips. Chris Jones, we got him on camera not like taking plays off, and he's 40. Travis Kelce is 35. And so I definitely 1000% again. I agree with y'all in terms of the standard for the Chiefs being high, and we just expecting the Chiefs to dominate year in and year out because Mahomes is so great. But to me, like, and I don't know if this is my perspective as a Bron fan, but this is a similar situation as when Bron went to 10 straight finals, and then the year that he can't make it into the finals, or when he go to the Lakers and he missed the playoffs, and his second best player is Kyle Kuzma, and the West is, oh my God, Brown went to the West and now he can't win. What? Like, come on, bro. Like, if you look at the team and makeup, okay, cool. The Chiefs have been with Rasheed Rice. Like, again, he only missed 6 games, so they still got games outside of that 6. If they're 6-6, they still got 6 games where, okay, cool, you were on the field. Did you contribute to a win or not? But if you match up teams in terms of talent for talent, the powerhouses over here, they got probably a top 5 edge rusher in the league, and Aiden Hutchinson. They got a top 5 running back, a top 5 receiver. You could argue Jared Goff is a top 10 quarterback. You mean, like, what when you checking off boxes in terms of the talent that they putting out on the field? Like you said, it's a lack of execution. I'm more upset at the lack of execution with top 5 talent on the field than I am with Mahomes out there with 35-year-old Chandler Jones or Chris Jones, 35-year-old Travis Kelce, who turned back the clock, who looked like a shovel himself last season. And again, I'm not saying that the Chiefs season is what we expected it to be, but we expected Bo Nix to take a step up from last year and Sean Payton's offense. We expected that. We expected this year with Omarion Hampton and the the returning Keenan Allen. We expected the Chargers to take a step up as well. And I don't know if I'm putting too much stock in that division because I like Herbert, but we expected that division to get better. And John, keep it a bean, probably thought that the Raiders was about to be in competition in that division this year as well with Geno. So we expected that division to be competitive going into the season. Nobody expected the Bears to be 9-3. Well, you did, but you mean I'm not hearing that for real. Nobody expected that. And where, like you said, the Lions could miss the playoffs as well. I didn't expect them to be 15-2. But last year they had Super Bowl aspirations. They came into this season saying, okay, we lost our coordinators. The rest of our guys are still here. We getting back this year. And it don't look like they are right now. So that's where I feel.
So then the disappointment for the Lions, are you more disappointed how it looks or about a record? Because let's say they were 10-3 right now, would you feel differently about them being a disappointment on the season?
No, they're not they're disappointing to me right now because it's possible that they still don't make the playoffs right now. And that's the reality for anybody in their season. I mean, in the division right now. But as we currently sit, even with the win yesterday, they are still on the outside of the playoffs looking at. Like, they cannot, if everybody in the division continues to win outside of the division games that they continue to have to play, they don't control their destiny right now. And that's disappointing from they are too good of a team to not be in control of whether or not they get in the playoffs or not.
Got you. Before we move on to the next topic, I just want to say this one thing, Ian. I get what you're saying about teams are better this season, but going into the season, that was the thought, or at least that's what we was hearing out of Kansas City themselves.
Right.
Oh, this offense is so explosive. We bring in Patrick Mahomes back to how we used to play football his first 3 years in the league. We're going to let him run and gun with all these new offensive weapons. All 3 of our top wide receivers are going to be healthy and on the field together. We finally got Patrick Mahomes, a franchise left tackle. This is his second year in the league. He's sturdy. He know what he's doing now. The defense, we got all these young cornerbacks and safeties. That's going to be their second and third year in the league. They're going to bring it together. We got Andy Reid, et cetera, et cetera. The Chiefs' specialty last year was one-score games. This year, they're 1-4 in one-score games. Their only win in the one-score game was the comeback win against the Colts.
The Colts, right?
So yeah, I'm more disappointed from what I see from them. They laid out too much. You got Patrick Mahomes. You can't miss. And he, like
I
you
hear
pointed
you.
out with LeBron went to a different team. Mahomes ain't go nowhere. So
I
yeah.
got you.
Moving on to the next topic for today, we got some NBA for you guys. At this point in the NBA season, who are your contenders and pretenders?
So I'll go. Yeah, you want
Go
to
ahead,
take
John.
it?
You can,
Go ahead.
All right. So I'll go. I'll start initially by saying like I think, barring injury,
mm-hmm.
which is a very very hypothetical in the NBA, I think this is a race for second with the rest of the league. I ain't gonna lie. Like I definitely think OKC will be going back to back this year, barring injury. So
Mm-hmm.
we're talking contenders. Um, just because I have to give an answer, although I don't think anybody can contend with OKC this season, I would go y'all, of course, Rockets, especially with the addition of KD. Then I would go Denver, and then I would go LA. I'm gonna leave San Antonio out of this for now, just because of like kind of what I said, and he's currently not playing.
Mm-hmm.
So but healthy Wemby going into the postseason, I would add them as well. So that would be the first five in contention for me out of the West. Beyond that, what you have in Minnesota, unless they get a point guard, I think they're cooked. Phoenix, who I don't believe in at all. I
So
really
these
don't.
your pretenders now: Minnesota, Phoenix.
Yeah, yeah, because these are everybody else that's in that playoff bubble after them. Minnesota, Phoenix, Golden State, Memphis, and Portland. They cannot. They will all be seeing the top of that, which is OKC and the Lakers, and they suck. When I say, that's
You
kind of
suck.
harsh, but yeah, they can't contend at all. And then in the East, truthfully, um, I only have two real contenders in my opinion,
Mm-hmm.
and I would go with the top two, Detroit and New York. Like I think that would be the Eastern Conference Finals matchup. I think everybody after them, because I don't feel Boston, Toronto. I think we had this. I don't know if it was on camera or off camera.
Boston.
No, I wasn't finished my thought. Not them contend. I wasn't finished my thought though. But Toronto though, like I think we had this. I can't remember if we had this on or off
I think
camera.
it was off camera.
Okay, yeah, I don't believe in anything that they have going on. They're 15-8. I'm sorry, like they 15-8 right now, but I'm not a believer. And especially if we go to the playoffs, I'm cool. What I was gonna say about Boston, like they are currently the fifth seed, 13-9. And although JB is having a hell of a season, like he's having a great season right now. Like I think he's having 28, 28, 5 and 6 or something like that. Because he's the man with JT being out. Without JT, I have no stock in them doing anything in the postseason. I'm sorry. And then beyond that, like besides the Pistons in New York, I don't really see anybody else contending with those top two teams in the East, at least in my opinion. So everybody after them is pretenders, in my opinion. So
Got you. What about you, E?
I agree with. Well, I'm not. I'm not mad at the Thunder being favorites to go back to back. I don't think that's stamped. I think we still got Jokic is still playing basketball like he's the best player in the world, and they are still one hamstring away from sending them home in that game 7. So I still think that a 7-game series is different than a regular season matchup. And while I am very much impressed with the way that they continue to go out and dominate and assert themselves, I still think that there are teams and players that not necessarily take regular season games off, but we saw years back, we saw guys like Giannis dominate during a regular season because I'm not trying to stop. I'm not trying to get ran over. Like I'm not trying to stop you from running and running through me and you want to not take a playoff. I'm okay. You can go ahead and dunk. They'll let you get 50 in a regular season. That's not playoff basketball. So I'm not sold on the Thunder going back to back yet, but I
Mm-hmm.
do I'm not mad at them being the favorites. I agree with John's other four outside of that in the West in terms of being contenders. Everybody, well, I don't think nobody else after that is important besides Minnesota in terms of being considered to be a pretender. I do think that, like he said, Minnesota need a point guard and got the ball in his hand too much, and
way
uh,
too much.
not that he's not, is helping expand his game and expand him as a passer, but I don't think that, like, even in Boston when JT was playing that point forward ish kind of role, they still have a Marcus Smart, they still have a Drew Holiday that
Exactly.
can be that pure point guard when you need him to get off the ball at the time, and I don't think that Minnesota has that right now. In the East, I think that Detroit is a contender. I
Mm-hmm.
think New York, I'm undecided on right now. I didn't really like their build last year. They look a little bit different in terms of how they approach the game with Mike Brown coaching, but
Mm-hmm.
it's like I'm in between with New York, but I'll say Detroit is for sure a contender. And I don't know why he didn't say his man, the generator, and the Sixers was contenders, but I think we contenders for sure in the East. If he putting stock in Joel, then I can understand that.
That's why I hadn't mentioned it because of Joel. Like
Okay,
Joel was an X factor for them to be contenders for me.
I'm not mad at that. Um, he's been in and out the lineup, and but that's a season to season thing. I think that this year, unlike years before, him not being in a lineup during the regular season doesn't hurt us as much as what it did before. So if we can sneak into the playoffs, and again, years before with Joel on the team, we was looking at the Eastern Conference like, okay, please let us not match up with Boston, or please let us not match up with Giannis in the first round. It's
Mhm.
nobody in the East right now that I think us as the Sixers like, yeah, we don't want to see them. Like nobody at all. There's nobody playing.
Without Joel, or with Joel, or it don't matter.
Well, I'm saying with Joel, but even still, like even without Joel, I think that if Maxi and Edgecombe are playing the type of basketball that they playing right now, and they don't fall off a cliff, I think we got a chance to beat anybody in the Eastern Conference in the playoffs. I think Maxi is that good, and he's having that kind of breakout of a year. I do think that still, like I said a couple episodes ago, that sometimes he's not inefficient, but sometimes he can be inefficient. He can shoot at a high clip, and he's a little guard. So if the jump shot's not falling and y'all playing help defense, sometimes it's hard for him to score inside the paint.
Mhm.
As crafty as he is, but I think that us in Detroit are the only two contenders that I can lock in right now in the Eastern Conference. The Raptors for sure are pretenders. It's only 20 games in, but the Raptors are for sure pretenders. The Celtics hold no stock in my brain whatsoever with JT being out, so I wouldn't even call them a pretender. They just like you said, like you said, the Bears should look forward to next season. Like y'all just need to figure out who can score the bat. Like what roles are we going to play? Who's going to be on his team next year when Jason Tatum come
Mhm.
back? I'm not talking about nobody else in the East. Nobody else is worth breath. Keep it a bean. I think it's Detroit and us, and maybe the Knicks. That's it.
Gotcha. So this was also easy for me. Believe it or not, we all agree on everything except for one team. Y'all might be mad at me, but I don't care. I'm gonna start with my contenders right now. I got OKC definitely leading the way. Like John said, I do think they are the favorites to go back to back. Somebody have to beat them. I do think it's OKC championship to lose this year. We just gotta continue to see how the year play out, barring injury. So I got OKC. Obviously, I got my Houston Rockets. I got the Nuggets. And then I'm actually surprised that John left the Spurs off. I do know he said obviously once Wemby come back,
Yeah, because of Wemby is all.
yeah, but I'm ready to put them as contenders right now because I thought when Wemby got hurt, they would kind of drop down a little bit in the standings. They ain't go nowhere. They
At all.
still winning games. Yes, I know De'Aaron Fox is back, but it's not just De'Aaron Fox. They got a three-headed monster at guard. They got a bunch of wings that can play, defend, and score the basketball, and then obviously Wemby. So I think the Spurs are ready to contend right now. I don't think they're going nowhere. So for me, those are my only contenders on the West. On the East, I got the Pistons and the Knicks. Now I know Ian don't like the Knicks. We don't gotta get into it right now, but I do think the Knicks are legit contenders. Like John said, obviously with the Sixers, I gotta wait and see with the health of Joel Embiid. But whether he gets healthy or not, I love the Sixers' chances going forward after this season. I love VJ Edgecombe. I told y'all I wanted y'all to either draft him or him be there for my Rockets to get him. So I am happy that he's a Sixer, so I can still root for him because I love VJ Edgecombe. He gonna do his thing. Maxie gonna do his thing. The Sixers gonna be in good hands regardless. But so just honestly, just the Pistons and the Knicks for me contenders on the East. Now my pretenders, I'm gonna start with the East as well. Like Ian pointed out, Raptors they're not doing nothing. The Heat, I mean, I love what they're doing, but no, they're not.
Why you even mention the Heat? You could have
Like,
saved
They
your
the
breakfast
four
steak.
seed right now,
Cause
bro.
they really playing ball, but no, y'all mentioned the way that Ant and Minnesota is just playing basketball is just not gonna work for me. And then I'm gonna say their name. I don't care that they the AFC. Everybody love to scream out that they contenders every year. I just want to
We
put
was
this out there. No, Golden State is not contenders this year. They are pretenders, and if they do make the postseason, I hope they see us in the first round. Anyways, now the other team that I got as pretenders that might upset you guys, I think the Lakers are pretenders, honestly, only because the kind of the downfall of Bron. I don't think Luka is enough by himself to compete come postseason with OKC. I see you making that face, John, but Luka is not going out there and dominating.
But how was that possible when he just did it 3 years ago? 2 years ago.
And
he wasn't by himself, but he's not by himself now either, though.
But he's not by himself now. He has AR.
Okay, I don't think Luka and AR is enough to compete with OKC come postseason. I don't think Luka and AR is enough to compete with the Rockets and the Nuggets come postseason. I just don't. Now, if we want to say the fourth best team on the West, I won't hesitate to put them as the fourth best team in the West. Could they compete with the Spurs, possibly beat the Spurs? Just maybe, because them guys over there outside of De'Aaron Fox don't got the playoff experience. But I don't think the Lakers are legit contenders. They got to go get somebody else. AR as your number 2 guy, because that's what he is right now. He's the number 2. Yes, Bron is still in the team.
No, for sure he did too. We all in agreement with that. He averaged like 27.
AR as your number 2. No. That's just how I
Why
look at it.
no, though? Why no to AR?
Because one, AR don't play defense. We start there. Yes, Luka just started playing defense recently, as in this season, but are we counting on him to go and strap somebody down come postseason? No. Who are y'all defenders? DeAndre Ayton not defending nobody on the wing. Marcus Smart, I love Marcus Smart, but he's older and he don't even get as many consistent minutes as he should. Please don't tell me Jared Vanderbilt. I'm tired of hearing his name. Rui Hachimura is not a wing defender. Who are y'all defenders?
How is Rui not a wing defender though?
Okay, so Rui is going to guard who? Rui locking down KD? No,
not locking down, but yes, he would guard KD, but you don't need somebody to go lock down KD though.
What's gonna happen? KD gonna do what he want to do. We gonna throw Rui on Shea. What's gonna happen?
KD gonna do what he want to do against anybody.
Nobody on the planet
Who's their best defender? Who's their best defender? Is it Rui? He can't be your best defender.
Rui, Marcus Smart, and Gabe Vincent is the wing defender right now, which I'm not here. I'm not convinced on Gabe Vincent because he is 5'11". I'm not trying to hear
exactly.
That. But
so
my
who is
your for you, right?
primary defender and who is your number 2? Y'all they can't contend with Rui being a primary defender and AR being a number 2. Just my opinion.
I think they can absolutely. AR average 29 right now, and that's not 6 games or 7 games like it is for Bron. So that's first. My second thing beyond that, I understand wholeheartedly what you're saying in terms of the Thunder and the Lakers not being a good matchup. If they see the Thunder in 6, right? Like Luka gonna go fight back in, but he can't just go 40 ball his way into a series win against the Thunder. But again, in terms of playoffs, it's about matchups, right? And so it's not guaranteed that they would be in first or second round contention against the Thunder. It's like if I don't think it's nobody in the West right now that should go into a series confident that they can beat the Thunder besides the Nuggets, for real. The Rockets, I got to see a little bit more. I think that by the end of the season, the Rockets could be in that conversation because they looked great in that game 1, and that was literally the opening night of the NBA. So I think that they'll be in a good place to match because they had the perfect balance of defensive grit and talent to match or outdo the Thunder. But I don't think it's nobody in the league outside of the Rockets or the Nuggets that should go into a series or that could realistically beat the Thunder in the series. But if
that's why I don't have them as contenders.
But if one of those teams, depending on the seeding and how far they are, like again, depending on where they seeded at in the playoffs, if they go into a second round and the Thunder got to seed the Nuggets like they did last year, which it shouldn't have been that based on the seeding, but that's what the bracket was. If the Nuggets or if the Rockets got to see the Thunder in the second round, I think the Lakers can beat both of those teams. And I think that just because that they can beat the Thunder don't mean that the Lakers aren't built or made up to beat one of them. So would the Lakers be my first or second pick out of the West? No. But do I think that they can contend depending on matchup and the playoff bracket? Absolutely.
So I look at it like this. The only reason why I don't have them as contenders is because I'm looking at every single team that I'm naming as a contender. Do I think you can beat every single team I'm naming as a contender? Okay. I don't think the Lakers can compete with certain teams. I think they can compete with other teams, but not certain teams. Like right now, I would have them as the 4th best team in the West, and that's not bad. But I don't think Minnesota can compete. I don't think any other team you want to name that's over there, they can't compete.
I hear you.
So yeah. If we don't have anything else, we're gonna move on to the game of today. Speaking about the Lakers, we got the Lakers at Boston tonight at 7 p.m. What you guys think gonna happen?
I think they heard you talking shit just now, and AR about to go get 40,
Oh my.
and Luca about to go get 35 because his son. I think he had a son. His son was born yesterday. Bron
Mhm.
not playing, so rest up to him. Get well soon, cope. But I'm picking the Lakers. Simple.
Got you. What about you, John?
I think I will also. This one was kind of hard for me. I think this will be a great game. This was kind of hard for me, but I'm definitely gonna lean Lakers. I think since it is at the Garden, Luca will put big BTA on them tonight, and it'll definitely be a close competitive game. But I'm gonna lean more towards the Lakers, and even with even without Braun, I think that they Lakers are a slightly better team than them right now, and
Mm-hmm.
this is not a standalone game, but it's on Prime. It's at 7 o'clock on the East Coast. You know, yeah, I think the Lakers will pull out tonight.
Gotcha. So for your first reason being, John, that it's in Boston, that's actually why I'm gonna go Celtics. Now I do know that Bron's not playing tonight, and so like that's fine. I don't think
So
like
you watch anyway. It don't
yeah,
matter.
I don't think that's affecting the outcome of the game. I do think that Jalen Brown and Derek White is going to be able to control the tempo of the game. Yes, Luca is going to go out and he want to do. It is what it is. You can't really stop Luca at this point. This is not the first time he's put up absurd numbers like this. What 3 years ago, probably should have won the MVP. So Luca going to do what he going to do. But I think Boston's going to keep it close, especially because they're at home. Then I just think JB is going to take over in the fourth quarter and get the job done. It's going to be a close, competitive ball game. What? Why do you make that face? He do got a Finals MVP. You mean? I know you don't want to get into that
We
right now.
stole that joke. Come
I know you don't
on.
want to get into that right now.
Mickey Mouse Finals
I
MVP.
mean,
Points,
oh wait,
rebounds, assists.
hold on. Why we on the topic? I don't know if y'all saw this because this kind of I don't know how to feel about this. I
What
don't know if
JT
y'all saw
comment?
JT John.
the JT
Yeah.
comment that he said yesterday when they asked him, "Is he upset that Jalen Brown won the Finals MVP?" He basically said, "No, I'm not upset. All that means is I got to go win another ring so I can get a Finals MVP because I know I'm going to get one." How do y'all feel about that?
I think I seen it, and I'm neutral. I think we definitely can't pick and choose when we want to let certain players exude confidence
Mm-hmm.
because I don't think that I think this answer was right there on the cusp of too drawn and not too chill because it's not like he said like not like on some Josh shit like yeah we good in the West or I think JB a couple years ago when he was like oh yeah we
I'm
winning
gonna
five
win
straight
not one, not two, not
yeah,
three.
Not,
like yeah,
yeah.
that's too drawn. They ask him like, oh yeah, because his initial said that means I just have to go win another ring. Not to
Mm-hmm.
say like, oh yeah, we about to dominate the East and I'm gonna get the opportunity. Like he wasn't too cocky, he kept it subtle, and I think that was a very very good response when somebody asked you that because you consider just a couple weeks ago, Cade, they asked Cade, what's up, what's up with the East and which that goes actually for the team, and he was like, yeah. So I don't care about MVPs. Like I want to win a championship over here. Like
Mm-hmm.
dances like that is like it's not too drawn, but also not too subtle. So I was fine with what he said. Like I don't think no radar is raised for me. Like I think that was a very fine answer considering the question that was posed to him. So
I
Got you. What
think
about you?
I'm on the cusp. Like John said, I think it was very much on the cusp. But I think the confidence part for me and why I'm on the cusp, I'm a team guy. I'm a team morale. Everybody on the same page kind of guy. I think that the cusp. I'm not worried about him feeling like he could dominate the East because I feel the same way. The East is shit right now. I don't care. So I'm not mad. I'm not mad at that. The reason why I say he's on the cusp is because even though you say I'm not mad at it, to say in the same breath I'm gonna go back to the championship and I'm gonna get me one is like
Yeah.
it's my team, it's my shit. I mean, like, so I think that's why it's on the cusp because it could be like if you put that on Philadelphia and it was a Ben versus Joel or Joel versus
Mm-hmm.
Maxi or Maxi versus Harden and he said, yeah, I'm gonna go get an MVP. Like, how you gonna get MVP if I'm on the team? You mean like I like where he can compare it to Cade's statement. I like that Cade's mindset isn't on MVP. That's an individual award. I'm trying to win a championship. The work will show. If
Exactly.
y'all think I'm the MVP, then that's what y'all think. And if y'all don't, I don't care. I'm adding to the amount of rings that I got on my finger. So,
Exactly.
like I said, that's why I'm on the cusp because it's not about what he think about the rest of the East. Is to me, it's about what he thinks of his teammates. But he didn't draw with the disrespect of JB. He just said, "I'm gonna go get one." So
Gotcha. So yeah, me and Ian, we lockstep in this joint. I'm looking at it kind of from Ian perspective. I don't care what he think about the rest of the East. That's none of my concern. At the end of the day, they got to go out there and play basketball. It is what it is. You can say what you want to say. I'm more so focused on how it may or may not affect your teammates. Like it's just a guarantee. Like, well, yeah, I just gotta go win me another ring because I know I'm gonna get me one. That's yeah. It's like you can because technically you are the best player, but at the same time
Like
you
that's
can't
still
just say
crazy.
yeah.
Like,
Like I know the next week, the next ring we gonna win that Finals MVP is going to me. I
bro,
know I'm
like Andre
yeah.
Iguodala don't
Like
got a Finals MVP.
yeah,
You
that's
know what I
kind
mean?
of
Like,
Exactly.
crazy.
That's what I was
So
gonna say. I think because like Dan, why I would disagree a little bit or push back a little bit is because just like that, like right after, nobody's gonna say this, but I'm sure obviously everybody knows Steph should have won that Finals MVP.
mhm.
Only person that probably think that JB should have won that Finals MVP is JB. Like everybody else,
Dan, what are you talking about?
and Ben, yes. Like
Because he won
anybody
it.
else
You know what I mean?
on the outside looking in, including that locker room, knows that okay, y'all draw. Y'all literally just y'all did that to spite JT.
No,
Like,
no.
yes, bro.
You can't say the locker
Yes.
room only because the first 4 games of that finals, Jason Tatum was shooting terribly from the floor. Yeah, he might have finished the game with 18, 11, 11, but then shot 20 from the field. Who was doing
Yeah,
all the
he
scoring? Who
scored.
was doing the clutch time buckets? That was JB. Don't do that, John.
But JT, when they went to overtime, JT won the game though in
Who got
OT.
him to overtime? That was JB, right? Okay.
Absolutely. But don't say it's one person, not the other though.
No, I know, but you make it because you
No,
said well,
JT was in the
locker
finals
room
like
know that
like
JT should have won. So
36,
you making it seem
11,
like they just gave it to JB
32,
just because. Like, no,
13.
they didn't
Like,
just give it to JB just because. He got him in the OT, and then JT
No.
won the game in OT. But before OT, he was SHIT.
That's crazy.
But yeah, if we don't got anything else to say, we can leave it there. We appreciate everybody tapping in. Make sure you go check us out on Instagram at everything X goes. Make sure y'all check out the story. We always dropping plays on the story for y'all, and we'll see y'all in the next one.
Yes, sir. Great job.